Yo, yo! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience Podcast. Today, it's just myself and Andrew, and we're just going to geek out on cool stuff, cool latest updates on high level that have been recently released and that we like in particular. So let's dive into it.
Welcome back, fellow data wizards and automation aficionados, to the weekly GHL Geek Out segment, your one-stop pixel potion for the freshest Go high-level updates, where we dissect every byte and bit with a dash of digital delight.
Yeah, man. So we had a long conversation before we even start recording here. Part of it was we were talking about the new website page, funnel page trigger. So like the visit funnel page, visit website page trigger. This got you were waiting for this for a while, and this got a ton of hype in the community. One of the things that it's a double-edged sword. One of the things that sucks, but obviously it can be used in a pretty awesome way, is the information needs to exist on the website before that trigger actually triggers, right? So like somebody needs to submit a form, somebody needs to schedule an appointment, or previously do that and then come back to the website. So as long as they're recognized as somebody who submitted information. So I know you were super excited about this, and and funny enough, I kind of jumped into the conversation in high level community, and I was talking about Chat HQ because we're an engagement platform, and that's what we're doing, is doing a lot of retargeting and things like that based on what they're doing in the website. But I'm already using this today. Like I was showing you before we started recording. I got a workflow set up, and it's not live, but I've used it, tested it, and I used it before without this trigger for other reasons, but I just swapped out the trigger, so it works pretty cool, pretty well.
Yeah, well, for me, why I've been so eagerly waiting for this to happen is that, with my snapshots, with my module or the profit roadmap systems that I got, one of the modules is called lead nurture system. And it's basically, well, actually it's part of the lead conversion system, but in a way it's supposed to give you more like a better insights for sales, for conversion, right? And right now you can get insights from people clicking on trigger links, but they're not that's just one mechanism, right? How you can get that visibility, what they're clicking on, and then you can assign a points value based on a link they click on. But there's nothing in terms of what pages they visit, especially when they visit pages that are more like sales related. Like if they're looking at your pricing page, that means they're actually considering, they're more in that purchasing behavior, as opposed to if they're just checking out a blog article, then that's more like an awareness stage kind of thing. So the way I looked at the whole thing is, when I was designing like what would be the best like a automated system that gives sales reps better insights, and then proactively like flags who is like a hot lead based on these data points, based on these metrics, is I did a lot of research, right? And that's things like lead scoring, lead grading. There's a BANT formula, which is more for qualification, which stands for budget, authority, time, and a need. Right. So that's like in that perspective, it's like, does the lead have a budget? Is the lead the right authority? Like, is it a CEO or is it just some junior admin that got through into your funnel? In which case,
Right.
they're not the decision maker, right? If it is a CEO, okay, great. Well, that's the second tick in the box. Do they have a timely need? Do they need it now, or is it a later thing? And then, and then, do they actually need it? Yeah. So basically, so that's like one way how you can categorize leads and then give them different attributes to then segment them into who is a hot lead and who is not just a hot lead because they engage with your stuff based on links they clicked on or pages they visited, but also are they qualified, right? But what I was super excited about the page views is that now I can, I can create a whole campaign, let's say 12 months campaign, 26 emails, and then a cycle through different types of content to cover all bases. Because when you're looking at like a buyer journey, you always have people in the awareness stage, aware, unaware, considering, and then decision stage when they're actually deciding whether they buy from you or somebody else. Whereas if they're in the consideration stage, that's more just sort of exploring options on the market. And then when I did a further research into like big corporations that do this right, this bring marketing really. How you actually do content marketing properly. It's not just about creating content for the sake of content, even though it may be valuable content. You also need to consider the bar state, like the different type of content that hits the right stage, right? So if you want to build more awareness, you need to do like highlight the problems to make people who are unaware to be more aware about a problem in that market, right? About, I mean, just giving an example, like a dumb example, but like fitness. Like if they're not aware that, like if they're overweight and they're unaware that exercise can help them, then you need to do more articles, more content about benefits of exercise and how they can help with weight loss, right?
Yeah.
It's, and I say dumb because in my view, it's like I know it, but maybe there are people who don't know this, right? So you do the content about that, and that's stuff you put on social, stuff you put on articles, and all that. Whereas if they're already aware of that problem, then it's more about creating content about like different like solutions, different maybe exercise modes, different exercise programs and things like that to make them, or different types of gyms, whether it's climbing gym or weightlifting gym or things like that. And then what you want
Yeah,
to
man.
do is, because the ultimate goal is to sell. So then what you want to do is you want to
Mhm.
look at these different pieces of content and categorize them. So just to give you an example here, what I did is I put them all in a spreadsheet, but basically you look at things that are awareness related, be like blog posts, expert content articles, how-to videos, infographics. For consideration, it'd be more things like white papers, webinars, things that is more like, and then there was also a question of or a thing of like the commitment. So something that's really low commitment would be like just scrolling on Instagram. That's zero
Mhm.
commitment, as opposed to somebody going to a webinar that requires them to fill in their details. So that's like a, you could kind of say, well, they're more engaged, they're more quality lead, right? They're like more
Mhm.
interested. So then what I did is I broke them down by like type based on those three stages: awareness, consideration, decision. And when you look at consideration, like I said, things like webinars, also like the about us page. Because if there's somebody considering who they're gonna go with, they want to check out like the business, the about us page is a really good one, or FAQs. And then if they're already like they're ready to purchase and now they're just deciding, whether they're gonna go with you or somebody else, then those would be things like demo video, comparison page, pricing page, case study, product guides, right? And so if you have those type of content on your website, your web pages, you want to be able to track those visits, because then if somebody is checking those particular pages, you could pretty much say they are in the decision stage.
Yeah. So one thing we got to remember, and we'll kind of reiterate this a few times, is they do have to submit information. So I've been honestly, while you were talking, I was already like putting together so many use cases for, ooh, wind's blowing like crazy, for like utilizing this. So for example, like in your situation, using that entire system. Okay. If and you should have this. Everyone should have this. You should have lead magnets on your website. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's a micro commitment to getting something like an ebook or a white paper or like a something, right? And somebody has to fill out a form and then they get that. Okay. So it's not as much of a commitment as like a product demo or like signing up or anything like that. Just a lead, right? So they submit that and now their information exists on your website. So now you can do all kinds of stuff. So in your situation, like what you were explaining, I was already thinking like create a bunch of custom fields. Those custom fields coordinate with things like web pages, blog posts, all kinds of stuff. Okay. Now, again, you can also correlate this to high level hosted videos because you could do things like tracking the video views and stuff like that. So that's another component here.
Mm-hmm.
But what you could do now is if somebody submits their information, you can say, I'm going to track every single time they go to this page. When they go to this page, use a math action in a workflow, add one to that custom field. Okay. So you keep tracking what they're doing. Now, there's two reasons you can do this, or multiple reasons. Okay. The first one is if you keep tracking the page views and there are people that have submitted something, you can say, because you could use Google Analytics for actual like real paid views of people that don't submit anything, right? But if they submit something, you're like, okay, now they're in the next category, and we're tracking every page that they visit after they submitted for some sort of lead magnet. I'm going to take all of those numbers and I'm going to add them up to these master values. Okay, so there's a few things here. The first thing is whatever page or blog or whatever gets the most views, I know what's hitting the most. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is what's getting the least views. I know what either needs work, or if it's something that's very vital to my business, I can try to push that somehow. Okay. So the next step would be the nurture, what you were talking about for nurture. Okay. So now I have a lead and I'm tracking everything that they're doing. If I have a very particular sequence, a lead nurture sequence, and I'm like for Chat HQ, we have, 77-day sequence. It's like 15 emails or something like that, just lead nurture. Okay. So now what I'm going to say is if they're a lead and they're on my website and I know that this product or this feature is really, really important, but they never went to that page to view it, I can track that and push, like use if else statements and push that up in the lead sequence. So they don't have to wait 30 days to see that email. I can push it up and really put it right in their face and say, did you know that this existed? So the cool thing is we're going to be doing this in Chat HQ. Specifically, like we'll have it on websites and funnels, but like imagine in your high level, like a logged in user. Okay. You have Chat HQ in your high level. The widget tracks everything. We track all your logged in user information and we track where they go in the app. You can build like this is coming. It's not there yet today, but imagine this. You can build onboarding based on what they're doing in a 3-month period. So in the first month, if they visited these 10 pages, but they didn't touch these pages, we'll know and we can send them information. That's kind of the same concept here on the website, except they're not a customer yet. They're just a lead. So if you want them to know things and you can like push that email up in the sequence and really make it stand out and like say, hey, you need to know this in a marketing way, right?
That's called, what do you call that? That's called the activation metric, where like when you get a new customer, like how quickly can you get them to activate? Meaning how quickly can you get them to achieve some sort of success? Because then that's a direct attribution to them staying longer and like
right. It's a time to first value, essentially. Like your goal is to get them to first value as quick as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about activation and adoption, right? And so if I know that this feature, like high level integrations page in high level, if I know that they need to integrate Facebook or Google or something like that to really get the full experience of high level and like get all the rewards that high level gives you, I know that if they don't go to the integrations page, that they need to, like if it's 7 days into their subscription and they have not visited that page, I need to send them
Then
something.
they
So
are that goes back to what I was saying. Then they are unaware.
they're unaware, right? Exactly. So like all those awareness, like buying stages come into play, not only on the website, but in the app. So we're talking about this trigger because on websites and sales funnels, it's super important. But I kind of like worked Chat HQ in there just because I'm super excited for this feature. So we're going to be able to do this in app for you, like in high level. But on the website, it's the same thing. You need to understand, are they problem aware, solution aware, like feature aware, like all these different buying stages, right? You need to know that. And you can calculate that in a relatively accurate way based on what they're doing on the website. And you can use Google Analytics to have like a general overview. But with this new trigger, if they submit information at some point, then you can say, well, I know for a fact that anyone that submits this information, I can categorize them in some way. Maybe it's not entirely accurate to somebody else's standards, but it's accurate enough for me to make a decision that will help my business.
Yeah,
right.
100%. And then when I bring it to sales or retention, another really cool metric to look at for you guys listening is the effort that a lead takes. So from things like an email just being open, that's like super low effort. Trigger link click, that's a little bit more effort. Web page visit, that's gonna still sort of like on low effort, those three. Versus if somebody viewed a video, I would consider it more like a medium effort. If somebody replied or submitted a form or attended a webinar or any type of event or survey or purchased something, well, that would be like a top effort, obviously. But it's really cool to track those as well, because if you're in the perspective of leads and converting to a sale, if you have the metrics about the activities they do and what effort of those activities they are, like type of effort, then what you can do is you can attribute different points value. So that's kind of what I did, is like I looked at, like, if somebody books an appointment, that would be like 50 points. If it's an email open, that's like just 1 point. And then you break it down by the stage. So if it's let's say they viewed a video which was like awareness related content, 15 points. But if it's more like a consideration related content on the video, well, I'm gonna give that double. You know, 30 points, right? And if that's a video like a case study video where they're like more in that like decision and they're just deciding whether to go with you and just looking at your case study videos, I would give that 45 points. And then you
Mm,
assign those to, you can have a formula and workflow that out like that math formula, I think that's what it's called,
yep,
and
yep.
automatically adds the next set of points to it. So then you have the total points, and then you set up another workflow that gets triggered when that threshold gets reached. And now that tells you, okay, this person is engaging a lot because it's really the effort engagement, like kind of that would be like an engagement metric. And then you combine that with the band, so to look at whether they are actually qualified. And if they hit both marks, they qualify and they're engaging a lot, then you can trigger off a direct, you know, notification, SMS, whatever, to you as a sales rep. Like, go and call this person right now because they are like
Mhm.
they're qualified lead and they're hot.
Yeah, you know what's
Um,
funny, dude, is like a lot of marketers, so I was like this too. A lot of marketers, they want to simplify everything. They don't want to go in and build these complex workflows and do these like complex math equations. But the more like we built ChatISU, I don't know, 3 years ago. And the more that I'm like a SaaS founder and not a marketer, even though I'm still a marketer, the more that things like this are important to me. And that's the thing is like we're all kind of SaaS founders in high level, even though we're marketers. Um, and so engage, that's why ChatGPT is all around engagement. So what you're talking about right now is like incredibly important for understanding your buyer. Like you need to understand like what are they doing? Why are they doing it? When are they doing it? What are they engaging with? Like, what does that look like? Right. And you can now with something like this, with this trigger, and obviously with ChatGPT, you can speak directly to them. So like something I built, this was 2 years ago, I built this without it was with the two-step order form. So I could, it was kind of the same concept, but it was different. When somebody would submit the form in the two-step order form, but they wouldn't complete a purchase, I would wait 10 minutes to see if they bought, and then I would like send them emails and stuff. So what you could do, like what you're talking about, and kind of what tying into what I was talking about is if they submit some sort of form, a lead magnet form, they want one of your lead magnets, then they end up on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they don't complete what you wanted them to complete. Let's say they didn't sign up for a free trial, they didn't book a demo, they didn't do something like that. You collected their information, you're tracking which pages they're going on, and then you're tracking if an action was taken, and you can send them an email, right? You can send them a text and be like, "Hey, I noticed you did this, but you didn't do this. Like, are you interested in this?"
Oh, well,
Right?
another really cool thing about this is that you can also be more efficient when it comes to your sales activities. Where if you already had pre-existing data about this lead, maybe 6 months ago before like they did this, they've already done another thing and engaged another way. Then you already have those point score against that lead in the CRM, and then you can decide, okay, well, if they've just done it again, they came again, but we have two leads, and one of them is low score and one of them is high score. Then the first one maybe just a text message, but the second one, give them a call. So then you can
Right.
pass it on if you got a team of sales reps. Like there's nothing worse than giving your team, like your sales reps, like here's my database, here's the full pipeline, and then just follow up with everybody.
With yeah, no personalization, no
No,
information on
no
what you've actually
hierarchy,
done.
no
Yeah.
hierarchy. Like the sales reps looks at this and it's like, that's not exciting at all. But if the system
Yeah.
already like filters them out, and it's like, call these people right now, then do these ones next, and that's how you're gonna have like higher chance of making a sale today.
Yeah,
Um,
set up a pipeline opportunities, track pages, add attribution values like you were talking about, move them in the pipeline, in the opportunities pipeline, and then tell your SDRs, say, start here and move your way down the pipeline because these are the leads that have visited 10 pages after they wanted my lead magnet, right? So
yeah.
or they booked an appointment and then they visited these 10 pages. Now what you can do too is you can add tags per page. So you can say, all right, check this out. This my brain, dude. All right. So, all right, if they book an appointment. They book an appointment because they know they want to talk to you, but they don't yet know exactly what they want from you. They still want to learn more. So they book an appointment, they go visit page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of those pages adds a tag to their contact. Okay. After 5 pages, they end up in the hot leads call right now pipeline stage. Each one of those tags adds a note into the contact record for the SDR that says, this page is all about this. Talk about this in the call. Here are some points that you can make about this page that maybe they're interested in that you can touch on as pain points in the call. So now what you're doing is you're setting your SDRs up for success, saying these are the ones that are probably going to convert. They already booked an appointment. And when you go, or it could be like on your appointment, like on the call that they booked, here are all the pages that they visited, and you know exactly what they're interested in based on where they
100%.
navigated in your website.
Yep.
Like fucking genius.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like,
And then, like, if
we
you
shouldn't even, if you're watching this podcast right now, we're gonna launch this. You can buy it from us. It's gonna be no.
I was gonna say, like, if you're also saving this as data against custom fields, then there is already an action called ChatGPT inside workflows, and I've been using that a little bit. And you can pass the data, so you just add
What's
the
ChatGPT,
value
bro?
of each custom field
What's
into it.
what's that thing? I
Give
don't
it a
even know what that is.
right,
ChatGPT?
right, and you can give it a prompt. So then in the what you could do is literally you could pass on that data into the like embed it with the prompt, so that the ChatGPT would then basically generate the actual like the full paragraph on a silver platter for the sales reps. Like, here, just read this and then do the call.
Genius, dude.
Do you know what I mean?
Genius.
Like, you could literally
I
say,
love it.
like, here's what you should talk about on the call, and each one would be specific to the lead. Because, like, what's the alternative? The alternative is, as a sales reps, you got to go into the contact, into the CRM, look at through the activity log, look at what they've been clicking on, look at what you've been talking to them, here and there, and then start to think about how you approach that sales call versus
Yeah.
already having it served on the silver platter and you just read it and then do the call. So that's shortcutting
Bro.
like the preparation.
I'm not gonna, this is not a one up, but I'm gonna add to your brilliance here. Okay. Take what you just said and now add in a prompt for ChatGPT to search the customer's website and the business information, whether it's like, I don't know, LinkedIn or something like that, like wherever
Oh
they
yeah,
can search for business
enrich
information,
enrich data, right?
enrich data and say, ChatGPT, go learn as much as you can about this customer and take the information that they viewed on my website and correlate it to what they might potentially need as a customer and give me an output for a sales call that would give me all the information I need in relation to what they might need as a customer, so that when I'm on the sales call, I know who they are, what they do, what they're interested in my company can help them, like how it can help them, and how to present it to them in a way that would sell them. Like, now you just created a sales script based on who they are, what they want, and how you can help them, all with ChatGPT, all with HighLevel's page triggers.
Here's how you take it up a notch again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's how you take it up a notch. Imagine if you did all this and then your target market were other businesses and you're pitching them AI tools and you literally sell them on how you sold them. You sell them on like,
Sell
here,
them. Yeah,
here's
you
like
walked into it, and I'm going to sell you on what you
like,
created for
hey,
me.
Mr. Potential Customer, so here's what happened. Just so you know, I'll let you on the behind the scenes just before I called you. Here are the things that I did. Here is what I'm using, and this is what I can sell to you.
That's I love that, because that's basically saying, like, you had no idea that I was doing this, and your interest was the software. And with this software, I did this for you for this call, which then you can in turn do for all of your calls moving forward.
Or maybe you do it at the end. Maybe you just have that whole call with them, and you go over everything, and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, like it feels like he knows everything." And then at the end, and by the way, I use the same tool that I'm trying to sell to you. I used
Yeah.
AI, like our own, a proprietary system. That's how I got ready for this call, and that's how I closed you. You could
Yeah.
just say, "That's how I close you," or "That's how I'm gonna close. That's how I'm gonna close you."
Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
love it.
just, it's
Yeah. It's dope.
it's really exciting. And but the main point for you guys listening is like, if takeaway is like, don't just spit out contents. Try to make sure that you create content that covers all of the three, buyer journeys: awareness, consideration, decision. Because if you're only creating content that's awareness related and you have nothing that helps somebody decide to go with you, like case studies, demo videos, pricing pages, FAQs, then you're gonna have a harder time to convert those, right?
Yeah.
And then the beauty about content is you create it once, and as long as you have a really easy way to point traffic to those places and allow people to find those places easily, then again, like I said, it's helping you convert sales.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really cool that they came out with this because, like I said, ChatHQ, we already have analytics for the widget, but like we're moving into the in-app like SaaS space as well because like a lot of people love using our widget inside their high level for like support and success and stuff. And with this, like we're talking about websites and funnels, and there's, obviously you have to have the information of the users. So there's a little bit more personalization. But when you're logged into an application, we already know everything about you. Right. So at that point, we're like doing all of these things that we're talking about in an application. So like what pages are they going to? What are they doing with it? And then seeing what step in that journey of adoption they're at and then communicating directly with them
I like that
about it.
because right now there is no like I have no visibility into what my customers
Mhm.
do when they log in, other than looking at the change log. It's
Mhm.
called the system log or whatever.
Yeah, the audit log.
Audit log,
Audit
yeah,
log.
but that doesn't really
Yeah.
tell you much.
It's
So
hard it's hard
yeah.
to diagnose that because they're doing so much.
So what you're saying with ChatHQ, you can actually get that visibility on what pages, like what features that are like using and when.
Yeah, so like MVP, first step, we're about to launch what's called dynamic behavior targeting. So this won't be analytics and tracking, but it will give you the ability to speak directly to people depending on what they're doing. You just won't have analytics behind it. So for example, I want when they log in, so it'll be like on the first day that they log in, I want to build something that says like within the next month, if they've never visited this page, or this page, show them a pop up that says this. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm building a structure, telling ChatHQ saying, watch this person. And if they go to this page in my high level app, this page and this page, don't show them the pop up. But if they don't, I want them to know that they need to go to those pages so I can show them a pop up. The next phase of that is going to be called what's called user tracking. And so we're going to have a dashboard that'll say like John Doe, his email, his phone number, the last day that he logged in, how long he was logged in for. Click a button, view all the pages that he visited during that session. And then you'll have more capability of saying, like, I know exactly what John Doe's doing, and I can build what I just discussed with pop-ups specifically for people like John Doe and what they're doing. Okay. So they're two separate things, but they work in conjunction because what we're doing is we're trying to use the widget in high level to interact and engage with somebody to help them learn more, adopt the product, and find success. Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole concept. And then obviously they're for support. So if they need to reach out, talk to you, but that can also be a component of it. So if they, excuse me, if they go to these 10 pages and then you realize like there's an action that happens on one page that would lead them to somewhere else and they never went to that other page, you now know that. And you can reach out and say, hey, listen, if you need to talk to our support team about setting up this integration, because you physically know that they never visited that page, but they went to a bunch of other pages. So it's also like customer support tool because if they're stuck and they don't want to reach out and they're just stubborn, I mean, we're all like that. Just I'm going to find the solution. Maybe
Mm.
don't reach out to support. So there's a lot of really cool things that we're going to be building that will enable high level agencies to support their customers, help them adopt, help them succeed, boost their satisfaction, like giving them information like Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. I'm going to show everyone a banner that says, join our webinar, join our customer success call. Because in an hour it's starting. So I'm going to, a direct button that leads right to the Zoom call or something,
Yeah.
right? So many things that can boost customer satisfaction based on dynamic interactions and behavior or time or like month, day, year, hour, whatever it is. So that's kind of the direction we're going, right? And it feeds into this whole, what structure am I building on my website to engage, to interact, to convert, but then also translate that into the SaaS application because it's a web-based application. So it's all
Mhm.
URL based. So you can do the same thing. It's not going to work with high levels trigger because it's not a funnel or a website, right? So
Yeah,
that's kind of the direction we're
it's
going.
monitoring the usage of the actual features inside, like how people
Yeah.
engage with what feature for how long and things like. I mean, that's
Right.
powerful, and that's, I mean, when you think about business 101, it's like to acquire a lead, a customer is a lot more expensive than trying to retain one, right? So
Mhm.
that's where money's it. I always use this thing called leaky bucket when I talk to gyms. Like you're trying to
Yeah.
get new gym members. But if you're constantly like losing this many gym members, it's like doesn't matter how many new gym members you get, you're still losing them. So plug the
Yeah.
holes, fix the holes.
If your churn rate, so this is stuff funny enough, we were talking about this beforehand. I was showing you a bunch of like financial analytics and stuff with,
Hmm.
if you guys don't know what Profitwell is, Profit, Profit, Well, Well, they got bought out by, Paddle. It's a competitor of Stripe. Profitwell is a free software, that gives you financial analytics on your SaaS. It connects to your Stripe. It's amazing, right? So I was showing Vit, and he's like, yeah, it's, I understand some of this, but I don't have a ton of customers. So like, I don't really pay attention to this stuff. In terms of leaky bucket, if you're pouring water into a leaky bucket and it's got holes in the bottom, water's coming out, it might stay in the bucket for a little while, but it's constantly being replenished. So it's a simple math equation. If you have a 10% churn rate, that means that every single year, you will essentially have a brand new customer base for the next year. So if every single month you have a 10% churn rate, right? That means you lose 120% of your customers every single year. So that means you have to replenish every single customer plus 20% going into the next year to have that same exact count of customers, right?
Jesus.
So that's why they say like SaaS churn rates, the good churn rate is under 2% or something like that. Or it's like around 1%. Then you have a growth metric or like a growth rate that's huge, right? Because you lose 1%, but you gain even if your gain is 4%, right? That means you grew by 3% that month in total customer, right? So that's exponential. So like that 3% next month will be a significantly higher number because it's compounding how many customers you got in that first month, right? So yeah, the leaky bucket, people kind of scoff at that. Like it's, cliche. I've heard people say that, like they hate people using that term, but it's fucking so vital that you don't just acquire new customers. And that, I believe, is why, and I talk about this all the time, marketing agencies have huge churn rates because they're less interested in keeping customers like on paid ad accounts or SEO accounts. And they're more interested in getting new customers. So you see all these gurus talking about, I can
Yeah,
get you 90 customers in 30 days and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you're going to lose 60 of them in the next 3 months.
exactly.
What good is that? Really? I honestly, I built my agency by myself, no employees. I was, whatever. I was in 6 figures. I was like upwards of $300,000 a year just by myself, gross. Okay. Um, had like a 40 to 50% profit margin. Right. And the best thing I ever did was not focus all my time on acquiring new customers. And I made every single relationship with all of my customers super personal, super like I was invested. And so they didn't go anywhere. Like I had customers for 8 years almost,
Yeah,
because they knew that I was invested. I was almost like a fractional CMO for their company. Right. And not everyone can do that. But the concept is like, don't want to just try to keep filling a bucket with holes in it. Doesn't make sense. It's like hitting your head against a wall and expecting the wall to break, but it doesn't break. You're just fucking beating your head against the wall. It doesn't make sense.
you know what's beautiful about high level? Like I've noticed this. Like I get some new customers, like some gym owners, and they're like the first thing is like, yeah, I'm not like when we do catch up calls, every now and then some of them might be like, how's things? Like, yeah, it's been a bit slow, I'm not getting enough leads. But then I look into their into their account and like the opportunity is not being followed up,
Yes.
and then they're not sending any emails to their existing member base, they're not retaining them. But in there, like the only thing they keep on focusing is like, how can you help me get more leads? But we're not in the business of getting more leads. We're in the business of being like making money and being profitable, right? So if you
Mhm.
look at like two things, right? Like cost of acquiring a new customer, whatever business it is, plus the opportunity loss of losing a customer that you could have had for another 3 years. How much money would that equate to? And you
Mhm.
just combine those two numbers, like that's a massive amount of money.
ARPU and lifetime value, right? So ARPU is average revenue per customer or per user, essentially. And that's monthly revenue. Okay. So it takes all of your monthly revenue, breaks it down by the total amount of customers you have. And then customer lifetime value, we all know what that is. If you have a low customer lifetime value, that should be your main focus. You should figure out, how do I keep one customer for 18 months instead of trying to acquire 20 customers that are going to leave after 6 months? Because now you're just doing more work. And if you can still acquire 20 customers a month, but you've expanded your customer lifetime value, you've just exponentially grew your total revenue.
And not to mention that if you can increase that customer lifetime value, that has a direct correlation to a stronger brand, and then stronger brand means lower cost per acquisition. So
Yeah, it all comes back. Yeah.
it's a no brainer. Like you really, and I'm the same. Like I get customers. I don't really have that many customers, but I've been holding on, like just doing a bit of marketing for this month because I'm trying to like get a couple of things ironed out for my customers right now. And I even told them like I'm not doing any sales, I'm not doing any marketing. I got to get you guys sorted out because I want to make sure that you're like, really up to scratch. And then I also know is that because I'm focusing on a specific niche, is that by fixing everything that I can for them and making them super happy, I'm making my snapshot like bulletproof. So when I do go back to marketing, the fulfillment will be quick and I know that it works and I know that it delivers and it just makes more sense.
Yeah, I think the magic, like the dance, the hard dance to do, like the difficult dance that we all have to dance is at what point, at what revenue number does it make sense to you to stop focusing entirely on acquisition and do what you're talking about? Because like in
Hmm.
the beginning, there is kind of like a notion of get more customers, stop spending so much time building or spending so much time working on things that are like keeping you from getting more customers, right? So it's almost like I said before, I keep using this euphemism, but like a double-edged sword, right? And so with that, you have to say, is it $5,000 a month? Is it $10,000 a month? What's that number where I can take a small step back from acquisition and then focus more on my customers that I currently have so that that boosts acquisition in the future. But if you're making $1,000 a month and you can't live off that, now you have to tell yourself like, okay, I need a system in place to acquire customers more frequently that
Hmm.
will alleviate my ability or my responsibility and liability to have to do that or put it on automation, make it automated
Yes.
so that I can spend more time with my current customers.
Now you
But
totally,
it's just a
yeah.
numbers game. It's just a numbers game. That's all
It
it
is.
is.
Now you're
Right.
totally right. Like I've got a bit of a cushion, so that's why I'm not too worried about sales
Mhm.
and. But if it wasn't that way, I would definitely focus more on sales. Yeah, 100%.
And you're single. I mean, like you're a solopreneur, which so it's fucking
Well,
amazing what you're doing
for
because
that
I
was
did that.
yeah, that was my
Yeah.
whole goal. Like I wanted this to be a lifestyle, and that's where I'm like my headspace is still like this for it still be a lifestyle thing. At some point, maybe later down, like in next year, I'll be like more in like looking at more growth and building a team. But I'm trying like
Mhm.
not to do that just yet because
But you
I've
know what
got
the cool thing
you know
is?
yeah.
The cool thing is if you do that and you build it to a certain point, you have so much more opportunity to do what we're talking about now by just hiring a few people. It changes your responsibility to like managing and teaching and things like that in
Yeah,
your team, but it gives you the ability to take a step back from all those responsibilities that you're doing originally, which is like all of it, acquisition and customer success,
100%.
and put that on your team. So you can do automation for acquisition, have a couple SDRs or VAs that do prospecting. Then you can focus on customer success and managing that team instead of acquisition and customer success or whatever is involved in that. So yeah, I
Yeah,
fully
the
agree with
whole
that.
buy back your time thing, the Denmark thing.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Demarto.
Well, like
Yeah.
here's how I like to look at it is, we're all using this amazing thing called high level, and it has so much potential to automate so much. And I kind of set myself this challenge that I'm gonna try and like see how much juice I can squeeze out of it to automate as much as I can so that I can do it all on myself
Mhm.
until I get to a point where then I have to hire people. And then if I get to that point where I've really maxed it out and I've got so much automated, then when I hire people, it's gonna be a lot more standardized SOPs and
Yep.
and then it's gonna be like half relying on a system that I built and more scalable, I think.
Big time. Yeah. That's you talk to all the big guys and big agencies and stuff, they all talk about SOPs. If you don't have a database of information that teaches people, they will always like go back to you and it'll just add more responsibility to you to teach them.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I just had a call week and a half ago. We're launching a new knowledge base builder in Chat HQ. So white label knowledge bases that pair with your widget, powered by AI. You can just like build knowledge bases and sell them to your customers, supply, give them the ability to educate their audience with a knowledge base and use AI and all that stuff, right? A use case for this is building a knowledge base internally for your agency or for your business with all of the SOPs, everything you could possibly teach your managers or your employees. And all they have to do is go in and search in the search bar with AI. They can either read the article or they can ask AI, and AI will be like, yeah, this is what your boss wants you to do. Like, this is what that process is. So then this guy that I was talking to, he's like, yeah, my customer wants to build this so that his top manager doesn't have to manage the middle managers as much. Those managers won't have to go ask him questions as often. They'll just have a knowledge base of information. Now, obviously, he's using ChatHQ or he wants to use ChatHQ. So he could go get a knowledge base that does this already on the market and utilize that. But the guy that I was talking to wants to white label and resell ChatHQ so that his customer has this product. So he doesn't want to just send his customer to like some other software, right? So that's the idea here is like you're also leveraging that white label capability to do everything that we're doing. And I don't know,
I
shameless
love
plug, but
I mean, no, I love it because, when it comes to onboarding and SOPs, I think there's like knowledge bases where people can search for things is useful, but I think that's only useful once they've been like kind of like onboarded. I think a scalable way to do that initially is some sort of a course where you've got a step by step,
mm,
like watch this lesson, complete this quiz to confirm that you've acquired the knowledge, and then if you
mhm.
pass, then you go the next one.
Yep.
We used to have this at F45 training,
Mm.
functional training. It's like big franchise, Australian franchise. Has like 1,600 locations in Australia, and it's gone down a little bit. But Mark Wahlberg is one of the investors to it.
Oh,
Anyway,
cool.
I'm sure some people know it.
Is he Australian?
Mark Wahlberg?
He's not. Yeah, he's not
No,
Australian,
no,
is he?
he's
Yeah,
American.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he invested in it, and they went on stock exchange. They were like publicly traded, and then it went upside down a little bit. But anyway, it's a functional training, 45-minute classes. You have these TVs every day. You reload the TV to a new workout, and then all over the world, everybody does the same workout. So it's
Mhm.
highly scale, like highly programmed, highly systematized way of delivering exercise, if I put it that way. But anyway, what I was going to say is they have their own academy for coaches, right? So when you, because I mean, it's kind of like McDonald's for exercise, F45, right?
Right.
Even the warm up routine, everything is on TVs, timer, 20 seconds of doing this and like the whole thing. So you're not really, I mean, you're still a coach, but you're part coach, part cheerleader. But what's good about the TV is that you don't have to explain every single exercise to everybody. They can just look up on the TV. So instead of not wasting, but spending time on that, instead you just, as a coach, you have more time to look at people how
You're more
they
efficient.
more efficient. Yeah, you look at their form and
Yeah.
you correct them, and you still give them that one-on-one experience, but in a group format. I mean, it's genius model to what they've done.
Yeah,
But
so the cool thing is you could do that obviously with high level memberships, right? So like with assessments now,
mhm,
what I can do, for example, if a new customer at ChatHQ, we're going to be building like master classes and all that stuff for ChatHQ. We have our help docs, which is like help information, but we want to send people to these classes. And the cool thing is we're talking about following up with this website view trigger, website page view trigger. With the classes, dude, you can literally personalize email like sequences based on what they've completed in the course. And so you can say, well, it looks like your assessment for this section was only 75%. Get it up to 90% and you'll master this section of Chat HQ and then you'll have more success here, here, here. So you're coupling all the benefits of that feature
mhm.
with the ability to learn it and actually assess your learning through a quiz or not even touching that module. Like if they don't go to that module and learn it, you know that they didn't learn it. So you can send them emails and say, listen, like we really need you to learn this stuff because if you're not going to find success and we want you to be successful. Or you could
Well,
do personalize it and like reach out, say schedule a call or something. Right.
and that's kind of like obviously support, and that's kind of like one way to motivate them. But I think if you can gamify it, then it can be self-sufficient even more, you know,
Mm,
or like even
yeah.
have like
That whole
internal
gamification,
combining
fucking
like
bad.
gamification and some sort of like a leaderboard of like new employees, like who gets there quicker. Because I mean, that's awesome, right?
Right, internally, yeah, not customers, but, like,
Oh
internal
yeah,
stuff.
that's
Yeah,
internally, yeah, just internally, yeah. Because if you get like
yeah.
if you hire a new new employee, right? I mean, it's costly, right? And you want them to get as quick as possible to like 100% being fully knowledgeable, and then they can then start to be experienced quicker as well, and then they can start delivering value quicker to your business.
So
So how
you
can
could
you?
actually do the cool thing is, like, so a lot of people would be like, "Yeah, I don't wanna set my employees against each other," right, with a leaderboard, but the cool thing is you could do is I was just thinking, you could just make a bullshit leaderboard and based on their progress, move them up the leaderboard and send that to them, be like, "You're almost to the top." And it's just based on math equations, right? It's based on like what they're viewing, what their assessment is. And you would just keep moving them up dynamically in an image, like in a leaderboard or whatever, a chart or a table. Never show them who else is on the leaderboard because there's
They
no
can
one
just
else on the
set up their own
leaderboard.
avatar or something, yeah. So it's kind of
But that's the thing
incognito.
is like, imagine there's nobody on the leaderboard. It's just ten slots on the table and they're number 6. They don't know who's number 5 through 1 because it's really nobody, but they really want to get to number 1. So you push them to get to number 1, even though you're not exposing any information for them to be competitive with somebody else, like argumentative or like arrogant, right?
Yeah.
So then you're just moving them up and you're just motivating them, say, get to number 1, get to number 1. There's nobody really on the leaderboard. It's just based on what are they doing? What are they learning? How well are they learning it? And you're just dynamically moving them up the leaderboard,
I
right?
actually don't mind it for them to compare against the other people. There's a really cool app that does it excellently, like, well, called Duolingo. It's for
Yeah, do it.
learn,
Yeah,
right? Duolingo. So if
I
you
like
guys,
that. Yeah,
if you haven't tried Duolingo, they have gamification. It's probably the best example of how you gamify an app so the user is constantly being re-engaged to keep using the app on daily basis because they've got this thing called streaks. So if you miss a day, then you could potentially lose a streak, and then they actually give you different like awards for like the length of the streak. So
hmm
if you were logging in the whole 7 days, then you get a little trophy and you can share it in socials. Mate of mine has 500 days in a row. Like he has been using it
Damn.
every single day, right? And I mean, it's genius because in its sense, the app design of the app is to teach you different language, right? And you can choose different. Like, there's so many different languages, I'm learning Spanish, right? So let's say Spanish. I'm trying to learn Spanish. If I get, sloppy, if I get lazy and I don't log in on regular basis, then I'm not going to learn as quick as somebody that does.
hmm
So it just goes back to their own marketing where they can then say, well, we on average help people learn new language within, and then they average out the period. That's a really strong proposition.
Yeah, and
And
then
then it's
doing it in a way that like your mate can message you and say, like, "Hey, I'm whooping you in this. Like, I have way more points because my streak's higher." Every week he gets more points because it like multiplies based on the
yeah,
streak, right? And then he messaged you, and you're like, "Oh fuck, like I gotta get in there." So it's not even just the motivation, personally motivated to do it.
it's
You're
social.
like, social and externally motivated because you're like, I want to beat him. I want to learn this, and I want to learn it faster. I want to learn it better, and we get more points. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, that's what high level needs to incorporate into the courses. I think that's already on the roadmap. Some gamification
Leaderboards for
features.
like, yeah, for like communities and stuff. Yeah,
hmm Point system and
cool.
leaderboard would be amazing.
Hey, do you have any beef this week? You got any beef? I got one beef I want to talk about this week.
Well, I don't have a new beef. I'm just gonna go back to the previous beef that I mentioned, which was to do with the email composer and
Yeah.
the trigger links being cut off. And I just wanted to give a shout out to let me just look up the name real quick. Um, but why don't
Explain that beef really quick though. So they're cutting off trigger links in
yeah,
when you're
so the
searching
beef
for the trigger link, right?
yeah, so the beef was that in so there's email composer in and I'm talking about the text base, right?
Wait,
Not
wait,
not
let me interrupt you here. For anyone that doesn't know what the beef is, if you haven't seen our other episode with the beef, it's things that we wish high level would change, things that don't work well for us because we praise high level a lot. And, they're like any other software application. There's things that are broken, things that don't work well. So, in case you're wondering, we're talking about beef. That's like our beef with it, our issue with this feature, right? So, just want to give some context there, but sorry to interrupt. Go ahead,
That's
continue
all good.
with
Thanks.
your
Yeah.
beef.
So guys, for when you do email marketing through high level, like you can have really nice visual emails using the email builder. But then there's really just plain text-based emails, and it said that text-based emails generally tend to work better when it comes to deliverability because there's less like data, things like that. But anyway, it's another thing. But in high level, you can use plain text in either as like a template snippets, which you can reuse when you're doing like one-on-one messaging, or you can use that in workflows, right? And then up until December last year, the email, the interface was the same. It looked the same in workflows as it did in the snippets section. And what was really cool about that when it comes to trigger links is that you could highlight the text and then select a link, a trigger link, but you'd have a little drop down and you'd be able to look up from a list of trigger links and it would show the titles of the trigger links, not the actual weird, gibberish code, right? So you could look it up, assign it, and then that trigger link would then be saved as a template in that email, like when you save it. And then from snapshots perspective, if I load that snapshot into different sub account and I go back to that email composer and click on that trigger link to check that it's actually regenerated into a new link, I can see that, and it still shows you which title of the link it is. Now, what's happened after December, they've done a new UI to make it kind of as part of High Level has been on this road for a while, improving the UI across all the different features. And they basically got to this email composer and workflows to make it prettier, which is just welcoming. But they got rid of the little drop down when you're assigning trigger links. So now, essentially, when I load up a new snapshot in different sub account and I want to check that I've got the right trigger link assigned, I have no way of telling because it just tells me that I only see the little weird, code, triggering code, like numbers and letters, but it doesn't actually tell me if it's actually the right triggering because I don't have the drop down. So I did some testing and it does regenerate and it works, but still, like not being able to visually confirm it and having to go through like extra steps is annoying. Second part to that is that the titles of the trigger links were cut off, so you can't, and that's still the case. You
Mm,
can't actually see because I use naming conventions and I've got lots of trigger links, right? And I've got some trigger links that start with the same set of words, and then at the end is what differentiates them. And I did it on purpose because that way it's alphabetically ordered. And I can't
right.
see them. I can't pick which one's which. They both look the same because it's cut off. So that's basically the beef that I've got. Is the composer kind of screwed up the UI, the UX, UI, better UI, but worse UX than it was before.
Mm,
And I submitted a ticket. I got really heavy in the community, and I found out who are the lead developers on these products, and I went down that rabbit hole because that's just me. When I bite into something, I'm like a dog. I just don't let go because it's freaking annoying me.
yep.
Um, but I wanted to give a shout out to the person that has been helping me on the ticket on this, and basically because I've been so consistent and so intense, they put it as a priority, so they're now developing it. So he passed it on to their developers, and they will get it back up to scratch in a couple of weeks. So the beef works, guys. The beef works. You just gotta.
Beef.
It has to be painful enough for you, to to be like to just really go at it. Because these guys, these developers, like we talked about at the beginning of these episodes, there's these different teams. The high level is huge now. There's so many developers, and unless you like really highlight it to them that this is really a problem, they might not know that it's a priority, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we talked about that before we started recording. Essentially, there's a lot of different teams, a lot of developers. They're kind of separated, so they don't know everything that the other teams would know and who they're talking to and stuff. But that's actually we talked about this in a different episode, or maybe just not on a recording. But it's called squeaky wheel development. High Level does this really, really well. Is the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So they wait till enough people complain about something, then they allocate resources to that to fix it, right? It's very efficient because you're not spending resources and time on things that may not be a problem for the majority of people, right? So, even if your beef is strong and you're one of 10,000 people, you might not get it fixed right away. But if it's something that's broken enough, like live chat, I got multiple beefs today and I could talk about all of them. I'll talk about two of them are very quick. One of them, it needs, hey, balloons. Jeez, what is this going on here? Two of them are quick. One of them is pretty crucial. So the two that are quick are, I just realized for some reason, there was a tab in forms that allowed the form to take up all of the width. It's like allow full width or something. Okay. I went to go create new forms. That tab's gone. I tried recreating all the settings that were in the other form. Nothing is making this tab pop up. So it's like I could bring it up on my screen, but I'll just tell you about it. It's in the style settings for forms, and it says like allow full width. So it just eliminates the padding, or creates zero padding. Then you can add padding if you want, something like that, right? So that's gone. That pisses me off because I have to like duplicate the same form that has that setting every time I want to create a new form, and then I have to go in and like change that form if I want that setting to exist. The second beef is I started a ticket for some reason, and Heath, if you're watching this episode, you sent me a text. I was messing around with communities. I logged into my communities, and my user account in my community, who happened to be the admin and owner of all my communities, as well as the admin and owner of every community I created there, like from that point forward, just to test this, was me, Andrew Kamide, with the email of my customer. And that had something to do with sticky contact. I don't know what happened. I fixed it. The ticket's open. I should probably text or email HighLevel and let them know I fixed it. But they need to find out why this happened, because I think it had something to do when I was testing something with Heath on a call. I put his email in to test a form that I was submitting, but I had my information in there. And so it his email under my contact information in my contact record in HighLevel, like my test
Jesus.
contact record. And then it changed the owner email in all those community accounts. It
That's
was
bad.
really, dude, it was huge. It was huge. I was freaking out. I was like, I wasn't freaking out because I don't like have 1,000 people in my communities, but we're starting to trying to build those communities outside of Facebook and trying to get that going. And it was really blowing my mind. So that was a huge beef.
Mhm.
So it had something to do with sticky contact, but the big one, number one, uno beef right here. ChatHQ built an integration with HighLevel for HighLevel's live chat. They launched live chat at Level Up. Okay. We probably talked about this multiple times in this call, and I've probably talked about it multiple times outside of this call, or outside this podcast. When you put live chat on your website, whether it's with ChatHQ's widget or HighLevel's widget, it all runs through HighLevel's server. Okay. And ChatHQ will have its own live chat, but right now we just connect to HighLevel's. When somebody goes in to start a new live chat on your website or wherever that widget is, it comes in as a guest user, blah, 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 like a bunch of numbers and stuff. So the first thing is you cannot collect contact information unless there is an agent behind that live chat pressing that button that says request contact info, right? So in live chat for HighLevel, there's a little
That's
button.
annoying.
Yeah. So AI cannot request that. And there's no form ahead of the chat that collects that. So there's a few components here. I'm going to break this down. At HQ, we built a form in front of the live chat because that's how ours worked before. So we just have that UI ready. So it makes it seem like if the user puts in the information in ChatHQ's widget form, that it would allocate it to the contact record or whatever. If that happens and we sent that information to HighLevel, it would start an SMS chat, not a live chat. That's number one. So we
annoying.
can't send that. Yeah, we can't send that information. So every live chat starts with, we don't know who this is. ChatHQ saves that information for when an agent in HighLevel clicks the button request contact information. Okay. When they do that, we just populate the data. If you're using HighLevel's widget, the user has to put in their information. Now, that's phase one. Phase two, which is the huge beef, is if I put in my contact information. Okay. So let's say, Vit, you're the agent, and you say, hey, Mr. John Doe, give me your information. You send me that form. And I say, okay, my name is Andrew Kamide, my email is da da da, and my phone number is da da da. That gets sent back to you in HighLevel. If the email exists or the phone number exists, HighLevel. So in every live chat, it's basically starting an entirely new contact record. If the email
No
exists,
way.
or the phone number exists, it will omit that and start a new record. So for example, Andrew Kamide, email da-da-da, phone number da-da-da. My email already exists in your HighLevel.
And are you sure you disabled duplicate contacts?
1,000 things. I've
Yeah.
talked to the project manager. Trust me. Like, this is a huge bug or like oversight on their end.
So they know about it.
They know about it.
Okay.
And so it will show when you're chatting with me, it will show Andrew Kamide, no email and a phone number because my email already exists in the system. Will not allocate that live chat to my contact record. It will create a brand new contact and just keep going with that live chat. Now that happens with email or phone number. So if it's Andrew Kamide, email, da-da-da, phone number, da-da-da, and the phone number exists, it will show Andrew Kamide, what I input as my email, and then no phone number. The only time it works perfectly is if I'm a brand new contact. So it will show all name, email, and phone number, and then continue that conversation. But if either the email or the phone number exists already, it creates a brand new contact, does not attribute that conversation to that contact record. And dude, I'm telling you right now, I just had somebody message us in our JHQ's Facebook community saying like what's going on here? It's not sending the information into my contact record because the contact record already existed. So it just omits the email and the phone number, starts a new contact.
So if you've got a workflow set up, it's like it just goes down the drain. Like it's all screws up everything. And right now, how many are there any upvotes on the ideas board about this?
I don't know. I brought it up, dude. I brought it up 3 weeks ago, a month ago, to probably more than that. I think it was the first week of January, second week of January, to the project managers. And so they know about it. They should be fixing it. I could put it up on the ideas board, but this is just an oversight. And a joke I made, I think I made this, I told you about this little joke that I had, but I always bring it up in Chetty Shoes calls. Sean, we love you, man. You're a fantastic CEO. But for years, Sean Clark was like, I don't like live chat. Live chat sucks. It never works. Okay. SMS chat's the way to go. Small business owners, local business owners, they're too busy. They don't have anyone manning live chat. Now HighLevel's going into e-commerce. Okay. So they need live chat because live chat's huge for e-commerce and customer support. So what I was joking is that Sean and the team were just like, get live chat out, just launch it, whatever. And it's broken as fuck. And then Sean goes, see, live chat doesn't work. Like it's useless. Right. Don't use it. So it's just like, I don't know, a little joke that we made. But the point is like they launched it without these very critical components and features that are necessary for something like this to actually work properly. And it took Chet HQ actually building an integration for it to actually see how broken it was, right? Like nobody really knew how broken it was. And now people are starting to see it doesn't work. It works very inefficiently because of that component, the email phone number thing, right?
Well, here's where the power of having your owned media comes. Guys, if you're listening to this, I mean, what we definitely should do is you should look up if there is a ticket, in the ideas board, and then we're going to put it in the show notes. So you guys can click on it and upvote on this, because this is, it's just another example of when, you come across something like this and it's just not being fixed and it's just not being given any focus, no priority, is when you then have to go like berserk and go in the group, go in the comments, figure out who it is, like just go intense. Like that's what I've done with my beef, and luckily for me, it got solved. And actually, that name of the person I want to give shout out to, he's a senior support specialist, Sean Barry. So shout out to Sean Barry for looking into this for me so quick. We just have to highlight these things because that's a pretty significant problem, and I do want to use live chat. So this needs to be working. Yeah, 100%. What's the solution for now? Can you merge contacts together so that the conversation gets merged?
Yeah, you can merge contacts. Yeah, and I think there might be a way to do it through workflows, like I don't know, like find contact, but the thing is, there's no workflow trigger.
There's no workflow action for merge contacts right now. Anyway,
there's no workflow action for merge contacts, but what you could do is find contact and update contact record and things like that. But you would still have to delete an old the other contact record. It would be a mess. But here's the thing: there's only one contact, but there's only one trigger for live chat and one action for live chat. The trigger is live chat replied, like customer replied, right? Channel live chat, and the action is send a live chat message. First of all, HighLevel sending an HTML message, which is weird. It's not text. It's like, it has like the paragraph tag. So like in Chat HQ, people were seeing like the paragraph tags in the message because we didn't format our integration for that. We just formatted it for text. And so we had to change that. So they're doing some weird stuff, but what they need is workflow trigger for live chat ended, right? So if a live chat conversation ends, how did it end? Did it end because the agent ended it? Was there inactivity on the user or inactivity on the agent? If there's inactivity on the user, you can send a follow-up SMS. Like where is that trigger? Right? Like we need the ability to roll over into SMS or roll over into email. So like there's a lot of things that are missing in this live chat that they just pushed it because people were asking for live chat, and people like companies like Chat HQ, we're going to take over that market. And even though our live chat's going to be better, having something in house that's high level's always done is like get something out. It's in house. You know, if people can use it, they can use it. They don't have to buy something else. But it's so inefficient and so broken that people are still going to go buy something else. And if it doesn't integrate well, there's just going to be more problems.
Well, what's annoying for me is that I do like to have, unified inbox. I want everything to be in one inbox, which is one of the highlight features of high level.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to use, a separate thing, it's not going to be part of that inbox history, that conversation. That goes
Yep.
against, efficiency.
Some of the
That's not.
foundations. It's the foundation
That's
of high level. Yeah.
yeah. I'm never like for me. I'm never gonna go down that way because it's just.
Mhm.
So then
Yep.
that just means I'm gonna go back to the SMS chat only, which is I don't know
Yep.
if that was secretly the whole plan from the beginning, just to prove the point. But
That's the joke, was like Sean
yeah,
pushing everyone back to SMS. Yeah. So that's the beef, ladies
that's
and
the beef,
gentlemen.
guys. And I think that wraps our episode today. We are
Yes, sir.
we're out of ideas for now, and we need to come up with some new ideas. But guys, thank you so much for listening, and yeah, make sure that you subscribe if you like this podcast. For any show notes, ideas, extra tips on helping you succeed with high level, make sure you check out our website, highlevelexperience.com. We are looking at guests and advertising options are available as well, and a whole bunch of stuff. It's all on the website. Make sure you check it out. And yeah, until then, anything you want to add to it, Andrew?
Just that we started this very casually, so we're still catching up, but we're going to be doing a lot of promotions for things like getting people on the podcast as guests, getting your 60-second segments. We want to share your high level experience with people. So we'll be doing some advertising for that, like getting people to see and know where to submit information, as well as advertising. If you want to advertise your business, if you're if you promote products to high level agencies, we're trying to get as many high level agencies listening to this podcast as possible. So we're going to be opening up advertising opportunities. Obviously, we're not going to be charging that much, but if you look at like the potential value of it, you could be getting a lot of value for like very little money, because we all spend thousands of dollars every month on potential ads or prospecting or whatever. So we're going to be opening all that up. You'll probably see a lot more on the website or on our YouTube or in emails, whatever. So we're gonna be catching up there, social media, stuff like that. So keep an ear open, keep an eye open for that stuff. And yeah, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, and speaking of email, you just need to get on our list, guys. So if you want to get up to date with all these things, we will send you an email. You just need to subscribe. There's a link on the website. And one more thing I was going to say is, if you've just come across this episode, we do have guests as well, which are like little longer interviews, a little longer episodes. So make sure you check out those as well, because we will have this bit of a mix. We just talked about it before beginning of this episode, that we will have some episodes that are shorter, even down to like 15 minutes, just to really a bite size kind of a episode about a specific thing, about a specific geek out update. But we also have, I think, the longest one with Sergio's episode 2
Almost
is
2 hours.
2 hours, right? Yeah, we just went deep into API and data and stuff like that. So this way we can give you a bit of a variety. So whatever, what's the saying? Whatever tickles your
Whatever tickles your fancy or something like
tickles
that.
your fancy, yeah.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat, yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to those shorter, like 15, 30-minute ones. Like this one actually went on a while. We talked about a lot of really cool stuff, but like we were talking about Hermosi doing those like little episodes on his podcast. it's so like quick and like you're in a car ride, 15-20 minute car ride. You listen to an episode, you acquire the information, the knowledge, you can go implement it somewhere. It's easy. You know, we won't do that often, but try to do it more often than we haven't done it yet. So I think that's a great strategy that Hermosi's just killing it with, again, with everything he
100%,
does.
100%.
Yeah.
But on that same token, don't get deteriorated from listening to longer episodes, because there's this magical button called pause, and you can always come back to it next time and listen to the rest. I mean, perfect
Yeah.
example is Joe Rogan, 3-hour episodes. I
Oh
still listen
God.
to them.
Dude, his with Post Malone was like almost 6 hours. He just chilled with Post Malone and like, yeah, it was like 5.5 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
awesome.
guess that when that's all you do, I guess that's, it's easy to just sit there for fucking 6 hours and talk.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I mean, that's gonna be the next thing, where we can make it more like in-personal experience, like maybe
mhm.
with the new Apple, what do you call it, the Apple goggles thing, maybe
Vision, the
yeah,
Apple Vision Pro.
when we can afford it, and it's bloody expensive, but I mean, I reckon that could be an interesting new, like, a
That'd be
way of
fun.
experience, yeah.
Yeah. I bet you
Alright.
Meta's gonna come out with something, dude. Meta, I heard an interview with Zuckerberg like a year and a half or almost 2 years ago about that's what their goal with the metaverse is like blending reality with virtual reality. So like, and I'll end with this because we're getting long here, but when your eyes see your arms, and most virtual reality cut it off at the hand, right? So you know you're in virtual reality. So they're trying to do things like what is the perception of human like reality to humans, and trying to like recreate that in virtual reality. So like seeing my elbow when I'm looking at you and talking to you, knowing that I'm pointing at something because I can see my extremities, right? So I bet you Apple and Facebook are going to go at it like this with this whole
Mhm.
virtual reality thing, like putting goggles on and just feeling like you're in a room with somebody, right?
Yep.
So I'm
It's
excited.
exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you listening, and catch you on the next episode.
Alright, guys, see you next time.
Peace.